I think in miles, Frome is about halfway between Cardiff and London. And tomorrow at 12:30, there'll be great rivalry because Cardiff City are playing Reading and Fulham are away to Birmingham. And the outcome of those two games will decide whether Cardiff City or Fulham gains automatic promotion to the Premiership. This isn't a football report, but my father, who's 96 years old, happens to be Cardiff City's oldest fan and still goes to every game. So my first poem is called, appropriately, Up the Bluebirds. And I hope that because Frome is halfway between London and Cardiff, you'll be very neutral in listening to this. Up the Bluebirds. Season on season, week on week, your irrepressible optimism on the phone. Down the line, I hear the chant of the home crowd. See the pitch where the ball arcs between boot and upright, or hangs in the wind over upturned heads. And yes, I try to share that urge of joy as the net bulges, and you leap from your seat, arms upthrust, to roar for the goals that justify your lifelong fervour. Week in, week out, each word you speak, the keeper's saves, the striker's misses, the names of players I've never heard of, the tactics, the ref's outrageous decisions, spins from your mouth like a string of bright rosettes in some conjuring trick. I listen, ask questions, enthuse. Somewhere in a wardrobe in my home, a bluebird scarf, bought years ago outside the ground, lies folded in the dark. The next poem I'll read is the title poem of this collection, Sax Burglar Blues, which I normally play with a saxophone, but I'm not going to bring that pain to listeners in Frome today. It is based on a true experience when my tenor saxophone was stolen. So it's a kind of possibly a revenge poem for the person who stole it. Actually, he did end up in the clink. Sax Burglar Blues. As he crept through the darkness to ease you from the stand where you sat like a swan in the reeds, could he hear your stabs and riffs, fierce and rhythmic as wings beating the waters, rising into the groove of the air? And when he touched you, hand in glove, fumbling your gleaming mechanisms, your keys clumping in his grasp, did he hear your screech of protest, the upper octave alarm of a hawk squalling on the leash? He took you apart, dismantled note from note, your smooth arpeggios, your bebop solos, squeezed the bell beneath his arm, twisted out the crook, slipped the mouthpiece from the cork, and stooping to zip you piece by piece into the bag, did he share the night owl haunts of your rambling blues? Could he imagine your bottom B flat, profound and plaintive enough to rouse a seal from the ocean's depths? I think I might just have time to read the weaving poem, which recognizes that Harris Tweed is died from the wonderful surrounding waters, plants, and animal life. making a herringbone Harris tweed garment. She sews the black and grey, the dye of the minky whale, the slow, the cormorant's wing, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn. She sews the black and grey and blue, the dye of the mussel bed, the myrtle, the kittiwake, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of the weft. She sews the black and grey, the blue and orange, the dye of the skate, the autumn fingers of apricot club, the painted lady, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of weft and warp. She sews the black and grey, the blue and orange and brown, the dye of the kelp, the leaves and bark of the birch, the corncrake, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of weft and warp on the beam. She sews the black and grey, the blue, the orange and brown and red, the dye of the starfish washed up on the shore, the crottle, the damselfly, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of weft and warp on the beam and loom. She sews the black and grey, the blue and orange, the brown and red and green, the dye of the crab in the bladderwrack, the blossoming broom, the lapwing's plumage, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of weft and warp on the beam and loom in his croft. She sews the black and grey, the blue, orange and brown, the red and green and white, the dye of the windswept dune, the mountain hare in its winter coat, the cirrus clouds, wave, machair and sky, the weaver wove from the yarn of weft and warp on the beam and loom in his croft on the outer isle. Thank you.